On the day she said she wanted to break up, I remember running downstairs shouting, "She's breaking up with me, she's breaking up with me," to my mum. My mum was just sitting there, she didn't really care, she was just like, okay. And then my dad came home from work and he came up to my room to see if I was okay. And for the first time ever, I broke down in tears in front of my dad and I told him everything. My world had ended. Everything was over. I ran downstairs shouting, "She says she wants to break up with me, she wants to break up." My mum was just sitting there like, "What the hell are you going on about?" And then I just like broke down. I told my dad about it and I just started crying in front of my dad. I had never cried in front of anyone. I don't even think I cried at all until then. And I talked to my dad a lot, he just listened. And then he told me like his experiences with relationships. It's kind of embarrassing now that I think back on it. I had got a new job at that time. I was working at my dad's company in his office. And things were going really bad there. There was this guy called... Well, I won't tell you his name. I don't know, I could tell you his name, but I feel like I'm doing something wrong by telling you his name. And I really didn't like him, and he didn't really like me, and I really hated working at my dad's company, so I quit. I had worked there for 5 months, and the pay was pretty good. Oh, it hiccups now. And the pay was pretty good, so I'd saved up like £6,000. And I'd saved up enough money to go to Japan. There was this one time when they were having a meeting with the company directors, the managers, and the head of the company, and my dad. They were having this meeting, maybe 6 or 7 of them, and then G asked me to go and make tea for them, and I had to go into the meeting room with a tray of tea. I didn't mind that, I just felt embarrassed because my dad was there, and I felt like a bit of a disappointment. My dad was hoping that by me joining the company they were going to train me up and make me like a part of the team, a part of the company, someone who can help out with work and learn how to do things in the office. But it was just like they were just getting me to make tea the whole time and do washing up. I felt a bit embarrassed. It wasn't really a shock, I wasn't really surprised, I was kind of expecting it, and even if he didn't say that, I would have said I want to quit anyway because I was just so fed up with that place. My dad was a bit disappointed. He wasn't happy with the situation either. And he kind of shares the same views that I have about the whole tea making situation. He also said if people want a cup of tea, they should just get up and make it themselves. My dad hates it. When I got back from Korea, I really wanted to eat kimchi, so I ordered some on Amazon. My dad absolutely hated the smell. I had to buy special containers to seal it in to stop it from stinking up the whole fridge. This is one that made me a bit upset. Male pattern baldness, increased odds. I'm not bald yet, although all my uncles, my dad, are bald, so I'm a bit worried. Does your family know about you doing videos on YouTube? Yep, they know. My dad used to watch my videos when I was in Japan. What is your relationship with your dad like? Do you guys talk or have anything in common? My relationship with my dad isn't bad, I guess. We don't have anything in common, so I find it very difficult to find things to talk to him about. I could talk to him about things like YouTube or video games or movies, and he would have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about, and he would hardly have any response, so I kind of just gave up talking to him about my interests because it's like talking to a brick wall. My dad often jokes, he says I should go and work in a lighthouse. My dad actually thought it was real. He said, "Why did you bring a pork chop from the aeroplane?" He thought it was from the in-flight meal, but it's fake, it's not real. My dad likes warm tropical countries where he can relax on the beach and enjoy the seaside. He's not really into cities or Japan in general. I lost 2 years of my life to World of Warcraft, and because of that I lost my school friends and I damaged the relationships between me and my family. I also secretly used my dad's PayPal account to buy hundreds and hundreds of pounds worth of gold on World of Warcraft. My family, on the other hand, have been very positive about the whole thing. My dad said congratulations, and he welcomed my wife to the family. I miss seeing my dad outside in the garden, mowing the lawn, chopping down wood for the fireplace. And she stormed out, and I thought she wasn't going to come back until the next day. and it turns out she just went to some kind of bath place, like an onsen. I spent nearly 2 hours sitting outside of the train station talking to my dad on the phone, and he talked some sense into me and he convinced me to come back. So I calmed down a bit and I decided to come back, and here I am. We're in Malaysia. It's very hot. That's my dad and that's my mum. That's I think my sister. Oh, my dad dropped his bag. Bye, Dad.
Mom paid everything.
My dad paid for everything.
Okay,
Not my mum.
Okay, I changed. Number one is dad.
Oh.
Number two, mom.
So my dad told me that they were looking for staff, sales assistants, at the petrol station up the road from my house. So I went up there, applied for the job, and then a few days later I got a phone call from the boss, the manager at the petrol station. She asked me to come for an interview. My mum buys clothes for my dad all the time because my dad is terrible at choosing clothing. He always picks ugly looking clothes, and that's because I think in general women are better at fashion. We got toffee in the year 2000, which is about 18 years ago, when we first moved into this house, which used to be my granddad's house. After my granddad got hospitalized and he passed away, my dad bought the house that my granddad lived in and we moved in. But my dad's like this as well. If you look at my dad, he's skinny. He's not as skinny as I am because he has a larger frame. I unfortunately inherited two disappointing traits from my parents. I inherited my dad's skinniness and inability to put on body fat, and I inherited my mum's small, petite Asian frame. My dad is very skinny as well. He's just like me, but the only difference is he's very physically active outside. He does gardening. He likes building things, digging holes in the garden, so he's more muscular than I am, but he's still skinny and fragile looking and slim looking. He has no body fat. I feel like my dad doesn't really care because he barely uses the internet. He does a bit of shopping, maybe he goes onto Google if he needs to find out something, but most of the time he just doesn't use the internet. For entertainment, he watches TV or he just stares at the wall, or he's out in the garden busy doing something. These are little pads that warm up and then you stick them to your body and they keep you warm. My dad bought them for me for Christmas two years ago. It's not a very good Christmas present, to be honest. And more hand warmers that my dad got me for Christmas. My dad's really ill. He's really, really sick. He's in the hospital. Last Sunday or Saturday he got the flu. He fainted on Sunday. He got taken to the hospital and he's plugged into life support and all that stuff. Me and my wife are back in England to see my dad. Let me try and explain what's happening. Last Saturday my dad caught the flu, and then on Sunday he fainted, and then on Monday he was taken to the hospital. The doctors found out that he has sepsis. Sepsis is when your body releases chemicals into your bloodstream to fight off an infection, but your body reacts badly to the chemicals and organs start shutting down. The doctor said that the main problem is my dad's liver, and there's about a 50% chance of the liver recovering. If the liver can make it through, then my dad has a good chance of surviving this. After we finished listening to the doctor explain what was going on, I went into my dad's room and I saw him. He was just lying there in a bed connected to all these machines. There were so many pipes plugged into him.